the system gets ready to collapse. So the step that we took was very, very critical, and to be able to go out to the healthy banks and go out before they became unhealthy, and to increase confidence in the banks and of the banks so that they lend and that they do business with each other. That was absolutely what we were about. And when we came here
Mr. Secretary, we've been just ready to wrap it up. I will say we got a little metaphorically confused there, but I think the summary is that our accusation is that you can't see the orange grove for the apple trees.
Right,
The gentlewoman from Illinois.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And first of all, I'd like to associate myself with the remarks of Mrs. Waters as to the problems of the loan modification. But I'd really like to turn to another subject that the gentleman from California, Mr. McCarthy, addressed briefly, and that is that the Section 102 of the TARP authorized the Treasury to set up an insurance program. And this is similar to the program that I think that many members of this committee and members of the Congress really felt that the self-funded insurance program would be a better alternative to the purchase of the assets and the recoupment, because I think that this alternative minimizes the risk to taxpayers, and it charges premiums to the financial institutions and begins to determine a value for those toxic assets that are on the books of the financial institutions. So, Secretary Paulson, you said that that you've had the comment period. I'd like to know how many staff do you have dedicated to setting up an insurance program and evaluating the public comments that you recently received?
I will have to get back to you on that, because I don't have offhand how many staff. We have not a large staff, a overworked, hardworking staff, and I can tell you that we will develop a plan, because the legislation asks us to develop a plan, and we will develop a plan.
Okay. Then have you received the Aon proposal? We have someone testifying for the Council of Insurance Agents and Brokers in the second panel, Mr. Finley. Have you reviewed that proposal, which was submitted, I think, in the comment period?
I would say my staff currently is I'm sure, either reviewed or reviewing the proposal. I have not personally reviewed the proposal.
Okay. And then, how then do you propose that we determine the value of these toxic assets or the mortgage-backed securities or the potential future mortgage foreclosures? Do you think that this program, the insurance program, would help to do that?
Well, an insurance program, there are a number of programs that have the potential to help determine value. And the insurance program would be, if a properly designed insurance program has got the potential to do that. Clearly, the illiquid asset purchase program has the potential to do that. We have I might also add that as banks are well capitalized and they are able to write down and sell assets in the marketplace, market forces can also help determine the value.
Well, it seems like we haven't gotten anywhere. And yesterday, Chairman Frank, who talked to you, said that said yesterday that the insurance program is unlikely to be implemented because it would do little to restore the liquidity to cash-starved banks. But have you considered then the actuarial valuation models proposed for the insurance program?
Well,
Wouldn't that one way to do it?
This is going to be a big part of what we're going to need to do to develop the program. And we're doing a lot of work developing a number of programs, and this will be one that deserves careful consideration, and we need to develop the best program possible. And
do you agree with Chairman Frank that it's unlikely that this program will be implemented?
I'm not going to speculate about what will be is likely to be implemented in the future until we understand the program, and if we can develop a program that is a good, workable program, then we will comment on it at that time.
Have you considered any of the proposals by the credit bureaus to drill down into those toxic assets to determine likely mortgage loan default rates?
I have not personally done that, no. But again, we have a group of people that have been working very hard analyzing many of these issues.
All right. Then, Chairman Bear, do you think that if there's a compulsory loan modification provision in an insurance program, that this would help to make sure that the loan modifications are effective and are made?
That's something I would want to take a look at. We based our program on the Section 109 authority outside the Section 102 insurance program, but I'd be happy to talk with the Secretary about what they may be contemplating there to see if there would be some synergy between the two.
Thank you. I yield back.
The gentleman from New York.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. During times of a national crisis, and we seem to be deeply in the midst of one, people look for leadership in which they can place confidence. Unfortunately, I think our President is not in a position to provide that right now, and people are looking more strongly in the direction of yourself, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Secretary, Madam Chairman, and to the Congress. And it seems to me that with what's been going on very recently, we seem to have a crisis in confidence. You came to us with a plan and made a strong case for over $700 billion based on a particular premise. And we in turn listened and asked some questions, and in turn were asked questions by our constituents. And we answered those questions and basically sold them the plan. Not everybody agreed that we were doing the right thing, and some of us here voted for it, not sure if it was the right thing, but confident that it was the direction in which we had to go, and then suddenly woke up one day to find out that $700 billion was going to be used for a different plan. It appears that you seem to be flying a $700 billion plane by the seat of your pants. It seems to be that this is, at least to me, and maybe it's the right direction to go, but it seems to be the second largest bait-and-switch scheme that history has ever seen, second only to the reasons given us to vote for the invasion of Iraq. I would like to know what the considerations are that you might have had in other ways to spend the $700 billion. Is there a plan C or D that you considered and set aside because now plan B is better than plan A? And what those plans might be so that we might have some input into them. And what is your impression of the authority you have with regard to those other plans? Also, I'd like to know, because choices are being made, what would be the impact on the economy if the automobile industry was allowed to fail? Certainly choices were made back a month or so ago when a decision was made to allow Lehman Brothers to fail, and perhaps there's some regret that that decision was made. I'm sure if we allowed General Motors and the auto industry to fail, that there will be a lot of concern afterwards as to why we allowed that to happen. And if the airline industry, for example, would be